Oh, those viral aviation crazy videos, I will always have something to react to. Hello my friends and welcome. My name is Dennis and as you probably know I'm Boeing 737 captain, and today we're going to react to crazy Russian aircraft takeoffs. Ilyushyns. Let's go.
Pum pum.
Alright, the first video for us will be about the Ilyushin-62 aircraft, Rada Airlines, the takeoff from somewhere in Serbia, but the takeoff is really crazy. And my friends, I took this video from the channel that I'll put the link in the video description below, so check it out for the full video. And now let's see the video itself, my friends. Let's go. So it's the kind of small runway, kind of short runway. The Ilyushin-62 is quite big aircraft. It's 4 engines on the back. It looks very similar to Wicker's VC-10, the British made, but this one is bigger. And probably here they should have already put the nose gear up. Rotate, no? Oh, here. Wow, it's very late. Oh, the parts of the trees and the grass. And the climb gradient is very low. Oh my god. It's so close, you know. My friends, what can I say? I don't have words to describe you this case because it was really late, just a few feet before the runway threshold takeoff, and it was really unsafe takeoff. It is cargo airline, so I assume that they took some extra cargo, or they should have loaded off some of the cargo to be able to take off, to reach at least 35 feet over the threshold. That's the normal height you need to reach over the threshold. But here they just airborne over the threshold. It's really unsafe because in case you have the engine failure or something like that, or other failures, you're unable to deal with that. You'll lose the altitude, and the climb gradient, from what I saw, is very low, my friends. So it's very unsafe. The one case I can imagine the takeoff like that is in case you are close to V1, or you just passed the V1 and you need to continue your takeoff and you encounter the wind shear. So in that case you need to continue and you decelerate a little bit late. That is why we have 15% of gap for your takeoff parameters calculations. So it is given for some kind of extras like wind shear and other stuff. But in this case, I don't have words, my friends. They are wrong. Hey Dennis, I think you put it in a very complicated way. You see, they paid for the whole runway, so they used the whole runway. And I partly agree with you, so you may use this chalkboard to explain us all what had happened. See you later, guys.
Pum pum.
Alright guys, let me draw you a picture here on the chalkboard. Here we have the runway, and it's usual marking, central line. Here we have the airplane, so we start our takeoff roll just from the beginning, and yes, it's not the boot, it's not the shoe, it's the airplane. I'm not good at drawing. But we'll start our takeoff from the 0 speed, and I'll take the example from the Boeing 737 that I fly, Boeing 737 NG. So then you start your takeoff roll at 80 knots of the speed. It's the airspeed. The 80 knots is the mark for high speed rejected takeoff. So after 80 knots till V1 is your first action speed. At this speed you need to perform the first action to stop the aircraft in case of the failure or fire, or aircraft unable to fly or protected to wind shear. So from 0 knots till 80 knots we may reject in many cases. System failure, master caution, side window open, tire failure, and many other things. But between 80 knots and V1 we may reject only in case of engine failure, fire warning, aircraft unsafe, unable to fly, or predicted wind shear. So here we need to perform the first action to reject the takeoff. On Boeing 737 we need to close thrust levers, so you need to start close thrust levers at V1 speed. V1 may be different, depends on your aircraft weight, depends on your flaps configuration, depends on the runway surface, whether it's wet, dry, contaminated runway. So for wet runway you have V1 somewhere here. Next speed is we rotate. It's a little bit later, sometimes it may be equal with the V1, especially on dry runways. So you just airborne, at V rotate, you start to rotate, you airborne at higher speed than V rotate, of course, because you continue to accelerate the airplane, and you need to reach 35 feet over the threshold. And also we have 15% of the margin for the stop distance calculation. So before takeoff you calculate all those speeds based on your actual weight of the aircraft. You put all the data in your iPad or your software, and you'll have your speeds for takeoff, you'll have your acceleration, stop distance available. And actual stop distance of the aircraft. So here is TORA, takeoff runway TORA. Takeoff runway available lengths, let's say takeoff runway available. But in some places, on some runways, there is also the stop way. So if we take this for calculation, you'll have ASDA. Acceleration, stop distance available. So it's not the runway after it, but it's cleared of obstacles, cleared area, and it's the plain surface with no any objects on it, so we can stop on that part of the airfield, let's say. So you can calculate this area as well for your acceleration, stop distance available, and you may take the higher speeds for the takeoff. Let's say you may take extra weight also for a takeoff, but in that case, in that video we're talking about, there was clearly no any stop way available because there were trees and the bushes right after the runway edge. By the way, my friends, it is my first uniform, believe me or not. If you don't know my story, I'll put the link over here and also in the video description below, my way to become a pilot. So actually my first job was the first officer in Ukraine. I was flying ATR, working for UTR Ukraine. But I went for the line training in Russia, in Russian UTR, the main airline, and they gave us this kind of things. I still have those. Shapka Ushanka, this hat, and also this coat, and it's very good quality coat, and I have it for many years, and I never worn it after that, but probably it's the first time I got it on in 10 years or something. Well, but this quality is very nice.
Pam pam.
So yes, my friends, I made some jokes here, but anyway, let's see the other video we have, the Ilyushin-18. Actually, my grandfather was flying this airplane, Antonov 12 and Ilyushin-18, 4-engine airplane, turboprop airplane, and still flying in African countries, and it's a beautiful machine actually. Here's the example of the takeoff and rejected takeoff. Actually, that is what I was talking to you about, the stop way, just as example here. So they took off, they're taking off, they were taking off, rolling, all the propellers and engines running, some of the birds, some of the people near to the runway. Wow, it's a smoker. Smoky takeoff. You can see some dust, and at some moment here you'll see, yeah, the video is not, so they start to break. start to brake, start to reject the takeoff. And actually it's a huge machine, it's a big machine. And of course they skirted the runway. Oh, the brakes are burning, they're burning. And they're on a stopway, they go down, but safely they did it. The aircraft almost intact. Probably they have problems, of course, with the landing gear, with the wheels, with the brakes, but in general the aircraft is okay. The stopway goes a little bit downway and it's not so good, but still they have it. So they rejected the takeoff right at V1 speed probably, and they safely skirted. It was safe outcome of the situation. Actually they did it well. What can I say? Something went wrong just before the takeoff, so they decided to reject the takeoff. So that is why we need the V1 speed. Depends on the conditions on the runway surface, depends on your aircraft weight, depends on your engine's rating, etc. If you reject the takeoff at V1 speed, you will be able to stop at the stopway, or if you don't have the stopway, you'll be able to stop just on the runway. So it's your safety, and safety first. And let's move to the next one. Fully loaded Russian Ilyushin-62 taken off on a hot county in Australia. Let's see it. Come on, let's go. The video is also not so good, quite a bad quality, but anyway, I hope you'll be able to see everything. I like Ilyushin airplane, it's quite nice airplane, looking fine. The T-type empennage, 4 engines again, quite nice. So they are making the U-turn, 180 degrees turn on the runway, and they start the takeoff roll. And these engines are standard here on this Ilyushin. For modern types of Ilyushins, they use the PS90 or something, more powerful engines, so with a higher bypass ratio and more efficient engines compared to these engines. Okay, they're rolling very slowly, my friends. This is a very large airplane, even larger than the Ilyushin-62, of course. And cargo airplane again. But no matter what airplane you fly, you need to calculate the V1 rotate and V2, of course. And just probably hit some antennas. My God, it was even worse than in case of Ilyushin-62. And you see, they can barely climb. The climb gradient is very low, my friends. Terrible, actually terrible indeed. I think they were far to reach V2 speed just after airborne. Probably they were at the stall speed, near to the stall border. Then they took off. That's crazy, my friends, absolutely crazy. My friends, for this particular video I put the Russian-made, or it's better to say Soviet-made airplanes. But if you search in internet on YouTube the late takeoffs, you'll be able to find the Western-made airplanes and Western airlines also doing the same stuff. And I think it's wrong, my friends. I think the takeoff parameters should be calculated and recalculated, cross-checked with the crew members, because they're very important for your takeoff. As far as I remember, there were many cases, even in top airlines, that the flight crew miscalculate the takeoff performance. Basically, they put the different aircraft weight much lower than they had, and there were many problems during the takeoff. Probably we'll have one more video about that stuff. But today, tell me, my friends, what do you think about this kind of takeoffs? And if you're a pilot, tell me, how do you calculate the takeoff parameters in your current airline, or then you fly your private airplane. Thank you very much for watching this video, and of course you need to follow the awesome guide checklist as usual. First you need to like this video, then subscribe to my channel, ring the bell, whatever it means. And again, thank you very much for watching this video, and have a great time.
Pam pam.